Football isn't what it used to be. Over the last 2 decades, the traditional playmaker or the number 10 has completely changed, especially due to the changes in modern football in terms of tactics, physicality, and game intensity. Attacking midfielders' job on the pitch was mainly, as the name clearly implies, an offensive part with freedom on the pitch. The best in that position could actually move in between the lines, anticipate the right pass with their wild time movement, thanks to scanning around the area. But in today's game, they've been pushed aside, shoved out wide, repurposed as wingers. But why? It's all about formations and tactics, they say. For years, 4-4-2 dominated football, a formation where the number 10 thrived in the pocket behind the strikers. It was a system built on creativity where the playmaker had space and time to dictate the game. I mean, think of players like your Del Pieros, your Tottis, who orchestrated the game with finesse, grace, and skill, or even your Riquelmes or your Pablo Aymars, like whose vision and touch made them legends in their central role. The 4-4-2 sort of gave them the freedom to express themselves, to be the heartbeat of their teams. But as football evolved, so did the tactics. I mean, the 4-3-3 took over, popularized by the likes of Pep Guardiola, and the Spanish teams of the 2000s emphasized high pressing, pace, and width. In this setup, the central areas became congested and the role of the traditional number 10 diminished. I mean, where Zidane once glided through the middle, now it's a battlefield of pressing and counter pressing. The spaces that Riquelme used to exploit are now choked with bodies, and yeah, managers have become generals, and the number 10, well, they're just casualties, forced to adapt or face extinction. But here's the question: by doing this, are we sacrificing creativity at the altar of efficiency? The decline of the traditional number 10 isn't just about formation, but it's about the evolution of roles. You see, the 8/10 hybrid, a position that blends responsibilities of central midfielder and a playmaker. These positions have creative instincts of a number 10, but are also tasked with pressing, covering ground, and contributing defensively. It's a position born out of necessity, adapted to the demands of modern football. So where did all the traditional number 10s go? Well, they're all playing out wide now. Modern football have pushed these creative geniuses out to the wings. Players who would have been pure number 10s in the past, the likes of your Palmers, your Esses, your Joao Felixes, and others, are now deployed as wide playmakers. And the idea is that so that they can cut inside, find space, and create from the flanks. But really, is it the same? Does it have the same effect? It's almost poetic. The very thing that made football beautiful, its unpredictability, its moments of magic, has been subdued by predictability. We become so obsessed with patterns of play, zones, pressing traps, like the number 10 has been forced to conform, to adapt, and in doing so, their essence is diluted. You see, the traditional number 10 was a rebel. They didn't follow the rules, they broke them. Remember when we were kids, when you used to play at school or even at the back of your house, like everyone wanted to be the number 10 or the number 9. Like no one wanted to play as an inverted fullback or whatever they call them these days. Like everyone wanted to be the guy who made the difference, who created the goals, who scored the goals. Like the number 10 had the freedom to roam, to play in between the lines, to see the gaps no one else could see. But in football today, the gaps are gone, sealed off by tactical discipline. The game is faster, the spaces are tighter than a virgin's kitty, and the childhood dream of pure, unbridled freedom, well, that's just a memory. The shift isn't just about tactics, it's about philosophy. You see, the game of football nowadays has become a game of systems over individuals and efficiency over expression. The number 10 isn't just a player, they're a symbol of creativity, of thinking differently. And when you push that out wide, when you force it into a system, you're not just changing positions, you're changing the soul of the game. It's common for leagues to experience trends and formations because football is a constantly changing landscape. The dominance of certain systems like the 4-3-3 has shifted the focus away from the traditional number 10s, and this trend isn't isolated, you see, it's global. As teams continue to adopt similar tactics, the room for that creative maverick in the middle diminishes further, and as a hybrid 8/10 role becomes the norm, the pure playmaker fades into the background. And maybe that's just the way the world is. As things progress, as we chase perfection, we lose that bit of magic. The street footballer, the backyard geniuses, the pure playmaker, like all these guys are fading, replaced by the tactician, the athletes, the pace and power guys. And while we may hold on to hope that, the old school player will find its way back, the reality is that, they're not going to come back. The game has changed and it's likely not going to go back. So is tactics stifling creativity? The answer may very well be yes. As we prioritize efficiency and continue to perfect these systems, the essence of the number 10, the true artist of football, seems destined to fade, while, in the very least, has already faded. Whether we push these guys outside or confined to the center, their influence is steadily diminishing. The game might become faster, sharper, more organized, but in doing so, we risk losing something irreplaceable, a piece of football soul. And maybe, just maybe, we'll look back and realize that in our quest for tactical perfection, we sacrificed the very thing that made football truly beautiful. Its unpredictability, its creativity, its heart. And I'll leave it at that. Big up to you guys, as always. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure you smash the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the damn channel, people. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, in a bit.